Alrighty, and we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Gaming with Gyozaplanet with your host, questionably okay Gyozaplanet. I am the little talking gyoza in the corner. I play video games and I talk about them on the internet. So, welcome back. I'm going to be playing some Hocked today for a couple of reasons. One of them, I did not sleep very well. Okay, correction. I slept okay, but I went to bed rather late, which is admittedly my fault, but I had my reasons for it. The other reason is that I just got a vaccine today. I'm not exactly sure what it's for, but yeah. And unfortunately, I got it in my left arm, which means my left arm has been in kind of pain for a good chunk of the day. And the left arm is the arm I use to control movement and such in video games. And in a game like TabG, that is an incredibly important thing to have. So I probably could not play Tab G to a level I normally can. Additional issue, it is late in the day. Right, I can't actually deconstruct these. It is later in the day, and most of the time, it's kind of difficult to find a match right now. So, to save myself the probable anguish that would come from trying to do everything, I'm just going to play Hawked. Also, because I have stuff to talk about with Hawked, because they have recently released a new developer update, and whatchamacallit, and more information on the PvE mode. So, nice. We are in silver. What was that? So, basically, if you didn't know, this game, Hawked, right here, is currently a player versus player game. You have solos, squads, and then a ranked mode, although admittedly not many people play the ranked mode because it's difficult. So most of the time you will run into, well, either people who have no clue what they're doing and they're playing it for the first time, or people who are playing it for the millionth time. Most of the time, it tends to be the latter, aka the people who have played it for the millionth time, and as such, it's a pretty miserable time. For example, see my previous video, Hawked video, the 100 Years War, where it was more or less just my team and the other team just constantly, like, partially eliminating their team, then running along, them reviving their team, them almost like them wiping out 2 of the 3 on my team, me running away, reviving my team, and repeat until we finally manage to extract the artifact. It's incredibly repetitive, and it mainly because people tend to use the exact same artifacts and such. It's very repetitive. So to avoid that, because I really don't have the brain power to handle that right now, I'm just going to be playing solos. Anyways, so, as I mentioned before, Hawked is currently, as of the time of this video, a PvP-focused game. This is good and bad. It's good because, well, the game works well and everything's balanced around that. It's bad, though, because that means combat is directly, basically, the problem with Hawked, as it currently stands, is that it's a very difficult game to get into, and it's a very difficult game to stay into, because it's a very niche game. Not many people know about it. It's not very appealing for a large majority of people because it's too cartoony. So basically, it's the upgrade system. So basically, the artifact and upgrade system makes people who play battle royale games not interested. The cartoony style make people who play extraction shooters not interested. And yeah. So you're kind of left at an in-between where you have a game that's technically an extraction shooter, but it plays more like a battle royale game, because most of the time with traditional extraction shooters, you have to like choose the weapons and armor and everything before you get into a match, and then like you lose it once you die, and then so you have to like kind of manage your stuff, and basically dying is a pretty big issue in those games. And this one, it's not that much of an issue. You lose any of the like in-game, like in-match currency that lets you buy stuff from shops, but all that really does is like accelerate the process. It either lets you buy ammo, gamble for a chance at like one of the rare purple weapons, or buy a blue weapon early on, which most of the time, let's be honest, you should probably not be spending your money on that unless you have like absolutely 0 chests and you're being like chased. So, and then admittedly, a lot of things, especially like the upgrade system, the upgrade system, and a lot of like the movement tech, movement techs, like movement techniques, knowing the island, and everything, and especially like all the intricacies of combat make it really difficult for somebody who's new to get into Hawked, because most of the time they're bound to be facing like players who are much better than them. So they like, for example, let's say they get caught out running in a field. They're not going to know that they got caught running out in a field. They just know that they were going along. The little tracker went off that said there's an enemy nearby, and they suddenly died. And it's like, well, that person isn't going to do those because they weren't being careful with their positioning. All they know is that they just suddenly got killed out of nowhere. So they'll either, if they're more mature, they'll blame hacks, and if they're just a standard person, they'll be like, "This is bullshit." Which I know I don't normally curse. That's for the sake of the example. So it's like pseudo cursing. Yeah. Anyways, so what the problem is that it makes it really difficult to get people to play the game and to stay in the game, which you really, really need for Hawked, because it is a free-to-play game that functions off of a... I'm sorry, hold on. Basically, Hawked, the people who make Hawked get money from us buying stuff. This includes, this is mostly cosmetics and the money to get cosmetics, and then also like battle pass, and yeah, it's basically cosmetics. They make most of their money off of cosmetics. That's nice and all. Problem is, if you don't have many players, you don't have many people. You don't have many customers. If you don't have many customers, you don't have people buying cosmetics. And if you don't have people buying cosmetics, you've got very limited revenue, which is really bad, because the company can't rely on revenue from stuff set like they can't rely on the game itself selling copies or like something else. So yeah, that's bad. What this means is that basically the game has struggled a bit, because it's a very small studio and they have kind of been trying their best, but the problem is Hawked was designed for a much larger player base than it currently has, and a lot of the player base isn't really a lot of the player base is very, very whatchamacallit, picky. So recently, recently is incredibly vague. A decent while ago, there were some very radical changes made to the movement systems in this game, and now, overall, personally, I think that the movement changes were good, because what they did is that it prevented the game from being something like Apex Legends, where it can get to a point where you're literally unkillable, which is something nobody wants, honestly. Well, it wasn't that you became unkillable, it's just you were really, really difficult to kill at like... And when I mean like really difficult, is that it was like basically everybody was just slide jumping everywhere, and everybody used movement related. Wait, hold on. Okay, we'll stun them and then we'll jump. Okay. Okay, phew. We are going to swap you out for the Trident, because I do not like having shotguns. So, yeah. Basically, a while ago there were some movement changes. A lot of people disliked them. Most of them were like who I would qualify as quote-unquote pros, not people who play this game for profession, like as a profession, more so just the highest end of players. They're the people who are like in the highest ranks. One of them is a guy named Coldberry. I've run into him. I used to run into him a lot in my older Hawked videos, and also when I just played this game casually back in like early access. Ooh, well then. And yeah. Actually, I'm gonna take this because we don't need 2 assault rifles. So, a lot of those people really disliked these changes, because suddenly they had to rely on, well, not movement to actually get kills, and it gave chances for people who were slightly less effective to actually, well, take fights. Now, admittedly, it makes sense that people get mad over change. It's a human reaction. People don't like change. But this was a bit uncalled for. And a lot of people said the game was dead, that they had killed the game, there was no reason to play anymore, and so that caused a lot of issues. Overall, for the overall health of the game, it was necessary. In the short term, it was really bad. That's not good. And then other issues that came that were similar. Um, and then the game has also had other issues over time. And basically, mainly because, well, basically ever since then, the game has had a lot of various problems, some technical problems, some like lack of content problems where there wasn't like really much. And so eventually the team decided that they should they have like a little checklist for how the matchmaking system works, because that was another issue, is that matchmaking was pretty bad, and you would either not get into a match, or you get into like a match and it would have like very few people, or there were people incredibly outside of your skill range. So they worked on that for a bit, and admittedly it was better at the time, but it still didn't really help, and the game still struggled. And so basically, recently we got news that, as it turns out, the developers have been for a while looking at the game. Basically, for a while the developers have been looking at the game statistics and such, and they've recognized that the PvP mode is not working out. There's just not enough people, and to avoid 20 to 40 minute queue times, it has to make a lot of compromises, which means that most of the time people don't really get actual players in their match. They usually get AI bots, or they get like new players, or like 1 to 2 people, which it's fine, but it's not sustainable, basically. So the developers were like, we need to fix this. What are we going to do? So they decide to pivot completely. And instead, what they are doing now is they are making a player versus environment, so PvE, as it's known in the industry, game mode, where instead of having to face other players, you're going to get in your team and you're going to face monsters and traps and everything. So basically, if you know this game, there's a part of the game where you have to break into the treasury and dodge traps and everything. So you have to break into the temple to get to the treasury. This is basically that same thing, but like much bigger and much more ample. And basically as a full-on mode. Ooh. Where do you think you're going? Get over here. Yeah. If anyone can use those poison grenades well, it's the dang Shroud Baskers. Okay. So, and basically, they also mentioned that they were planning a couple of other changes to systems and stuff like that. Everybody got hyped. Then they kind of, like, radio silence for a bit, which makes sense because having to completely pivot how your game works is not easy. I think I just... Oh, it's an invisible landmine, I think is what happened. That's unfortunate, but anyways, so the devs kind of limited, like they mentioned that they would be revealing more at a future point. Okay, we're just gonna do this. Buy yourself some time. Wow, okay, that was not easy. Yeah, I would have been chewed alive in Tab G if I tried playing that today. So, yeah, basically, a couple of weeks went by, people kept playing, a couple of new bounties, events went by and everything, new cosmetics, and such. And then, a couple of days ago, we got a new update, which is the main thing I'm going to talk about today. So, what exactly have they revealed? Well, they're planning a couple things, and what they have planned looks incredibly impressive. So, first off, basically, more details on the PvE mode. It's going to be completely different. So, it's a purely PvE. There, you do not fight players at all. It's not a solos mode, so there will be other teams in the match, but you don't fight at any point. They just happen to be, you happen to be in the similar space, and then all of you go and take down enemies. So, now about the actual thing themselves. From what it looks like, you will have, hold on. Okay, I can't do this because I can't actually see through the waterfall. Okay, I'm actually gonna go read the, I'm just gonna read the article after this because I do not remember it from memory. But basically, how it works is that, hold on. I'm gonna grab the artifact and I'm gonna keep talking. Okay, so how it works, from what I understood, is that basically you and your team are going to basically do the same thing that you do in normal Hawks, where you have to go across the map, grab glyphs, and then break into the temple to open the treasury and escape. Except everything is going to be stepped up enemy-wise. And I mean, like, much, much tankier enemies, a lot more dangerous foes, everything, like, up the wazoo. So, damn. That's impressive. It actually looks like, yeah, it looks like it's put serious dents in the ground. Good job, whoever is in charge of that. I forget what team that would be. But a good job to them. So, yeah. And currently there are two, I believe, like temple locations that you're gonna raid, and there's a third one to be released, and then there are additional ones that will be DLC. Now,
give me the loot, renegade.
Really, Bodhi? Really? I don't have time to deal with your shenanigans. It also help if I can actually hit my shots. Yes, game, I know where he is. I know there's somebody nearby. Damn it, I forgot to grab nades. Okay, where is he going? Nope, that's not him. Yeah, they're all escaping. I don't think I'm not catching up in time. That's fine. Oh, reset. Really? Okay. And now we wait.
Enemy there.
Yeah, no, that's not accurate. Okay, so as that goes, I shall pull up the document, or the, there you go. So, basically, the important stuff to keep in mind. Venture 3, which is the second half of this, this season, which is the Vector season, which will be September 12th, so in about 10 days, which is actually not too far. So that's the next, like, full season. So yeah, so this is like season part 2. Like, this is part 2 of the season, this is the next season, and then this is a new PvE mode. And those will be quarter 4, so that's going to be October, November, or December. So, also, they're adding in a couple of new things. So actually, I'm going to finish up here. Very nice. Nobody in the match? Nope. Okay. Alrighty. So, what's new? Well, first off, character reputation system. This, great system. What it basically, the more you talk with characters and the more quests you run for them, the more you talk with them, the more you advance in the storyline. Like, you get rewards and they talk to you in a different way. Very cool. It also, it lasts forever. Also, the Grail loyalty thing, which is the current, if you don't know what that is, Grail loyalty is the, like, quote-unquote level system, which is this right here. What it basically does is that it unlocks these. The higher you go, you unlock new gears, and then also additional things. So this will replace that, which is interesting because it would make more sense that, like, for example, Bjorn would give you, like, a high-tech it makes sense that like if you do a couple quests for Bjorn, you would get something like the Bangomatic or the Fringe Fader. But if instead you do a quest for like a Nisha here, you would probably get something like the well, hold on, it's this category. You get something like the Boomerang or Doomerang or the Huntclaw because it's more in line with what their character is like. So also, they are changing the treasure system and the basically they're completely redoing the artifact system. These right here, and also the booster system is being completely redone. To summarize it, basically how it works is that issue 3, so in 10 days and after that, all artifacts will be like locked at rare, so blue. You can only ever like either extract a blue artifact or like take a white artifact and upgrade it to blue. If you want to get it back, or if you want to get higher afterwards, what you're gonna have to do is use the synthesis thing. This does two things: you can reroll and you can enhance. From what I understand, reroll lets you change attributes on it, so it's things like you move a bit fast, like reduced. Basically, I'm guessing it's gonna be the boosters, so like you take less damage from explosions, you move faster when you're knocked down, debuff lasts shorter, hip fire is more accurate, etc. And then enhancing lets you fully upgrade them to like purple and legendary qualities, like we can normally do right now with just like spending currency. You're also getting a fourth artifact slot, which will be nice, and class cards. Um, um, yeah. However, this isn't. I don't think this is just for normal artifacts. I think this is for charge artifacts, which are basically recharge. They're kind of like boosters. Basically, their effects degrade over time. So you basically, I'm guessing you have to. I'm guessing how it works is you're going to have like a fourth slot right here. So you have like a fourth slot right here. It's going to be your charge artifact, and it's there. It does something very powerful. Congratulations. And it has an effect, and I'm guessing that the effect will slowly go down over time unless you spend one durium to pay one durium to recharge it. Now that could be problematic, but we will see how it works. There are also two new types of legendaries that are coming. There's Masterwork and there's Corrupted. Masterwork gives you a buff to one of its attributes. I'm not sure if attributes is like this stuff, like the reduce hip fire thingies that you get from rerolling, or if it's just like the actual stats of it. So like this would be like you would get like more explosions, and this would be like the cooldown is shorter, or if it's just like it goes from like 25% more accurate to 35% more accurate, which would be cool. And then there's Corrupted, which comes with a debuff. If you play Risk of Rain and you've heard of lunar items, it's similar to that. Also, this is also cool. I disagree with it though a lot. Basically, what it is that if you successfully win a match and you extract with items in your inventory, they carry over to the next match. They only carry over once, though. So if I get a purple shield mod in game 1, and then I get a purple weapon, or then let's say I get the Hot Shots weapon mod in game 2, and I go to game 3, only the Hot Shots will carry over. The purple mod will be left behind in the second match. And if you don't extract, you die, the timer ends or something, or you don't have anything, your inventory just gets wiped. Now, this is good, but I really hope that this is PvE exclusive. Reason is, this completely breaks any sort of balance that PvP has. Why? Well, let's take, for example, the previous example of that player from before that I was talking about, Coldberry. Coldberry is a very skilled player, they're very good at the game, so it's quite likely that they'll most likely get, let's say, a gold shield mod, a purple weapon, and then like a class mod, and then like a couple. Do grenades carry over? No. And then let's say a purple guard 21. Suddenly, when they load into the next match, They have pretty much most of a perfect loadout for their player style. I don't know if they snipe or not, but like if when you like load in and you have a purple guard 21, a golden shield mod, and then something like hot shots or stun shots, that's insane because suddenly whilst everybody else is scrambling to try and find like a green weapon or like a green or blue shield mod, you're going to be pretty much unkillable. Now the thing is that those only carry over once, but here's the thing. Because you already have all of the benefits from the previous match, it makes it a lot easier. You're basically uncontested in that match. So that means you can easily run around and grab more items and grab a gold mod from that match, from like an airdrop, another purple weapon from a chest, gambling, whatever, mods from literally anywhere. And then suddenly in the third match, you have basically the same loot as before. And so basically what it means is that you're pretty much, it would basically completely break the game. Although from what it looks like, it is going to be PvE exclusive. I really hope that it is PvE exclusive, because if not, it's going to completely break the game. So, PvE mode. Basically, yeah. So basically, how it's going to work is, yeah. 5 squads play in PvE, and you can do it solo, 2 people, or 3 people. But you're not fighting any enemy things. Each one has their own treasury, and you have to do encounters to get glyphs, and then you open a dungeon, which from what I understand, it's like a treasury, but even bigger and even more deadly. And this is the first one, the Quagora, or Quagora, I'm guessing it's pronounced. This one has 3 trials that you have to complete. So, fire enemies, lots of traps, I'm guessing, and then a lot of poison traps and poison enemies. So, yeah. So from what I'm understanding here is that it won't be it's not going to be pay to win. It's going to kind of be like how Destiny does it, because in Destiny, there's a mechanic in the game called raids, which is basically like things you can do. It's like you basically run around and like fight enemies and everything, and you get loot at the end. It's like this little mini story dungeon basically. And some of them are available just as is once you download the game, and then a majority of them are DLC exclusives, so you have to pay to get access to them. And from what I understand, this is how they're going to do the system, is that the first few, like either the first one or future ones, will be free, and then afterwards you can pay, and it basically gives you access to do raids and like go through and fight that area. We'll see how it works out. It's promising. If they do like a good amount of them, I could definitely see it working. And it would also, if they're going like the Destiny way, they do like, it could cause issues. Yeah, we'll see. So, and then there's a lot of questions here, which are just like general like questions and concerns. So also keep in mind, this is like their current plans. This is subject to change. If suddenly like something happens, or like they get like a huge windfall, a ton of people, something might change. But yeah. Anyways, so that's what's planned. Overall, my current thoughts on it. Honestly, this is a very good idea for the game. Hawked currently sits in a weird place in like as a video game, where it's too casual and cartoony for people who enjoy hardcore extraction shooters, but it still has enough consequence for people who enjoy the like kind of like no costs, like the no consequences of a battle royale to actually get hooked. And the upgrade system also kind of hinders that. So hopefully with this, and also with like the whole synthesis system and also character reputation, it's going to be a lot more interesting. Or not just interesting, but like a lot, like you have actual reason to play matches over and over. Because that's kind of the issue, is that after a while, you don't really have reasons to play unless like me, you want to get like all of these like maxed level. But for a lot of people, that's not their main interest. They just want to play, and after like the 20th, 30th, 40th match, Hawked kind of every game starts feeling the same a bit. There's not much they can do about it. Games are just like that. Especially this game. It's just how it plays. So hopefully they can help alleviate some of that. The synthesis system looks very cool. I do like it. Hopefully the like attributes thing is not too like it's just like minor tweaks. Oh, I hope that it's not game breaking to have like I hope that it's not absolutely insane levels where like if you have one specific like characteristic on an artifact, it's like it like gives you like 30% more speed, or like your weapons have like double the fire rate if you manage to down a player for 5 seconds, because that kind of stuff is absolutely insane. But I also hope it's not like 5% more, like 5% more headshot damage past 20 meters, which is completely useless for pretty much any scenario, or it's like 3% faster reloads. Because let's be honest, 3% faster reloads is not going to make a difference. So hopefully it's not too game breaking, but it's still kind of relevant. I will admit I do like the synthesis being how you upgrade stuff, and I also like that that they have the charge artifacts are going to be like in-game stuff, so it gives a reason to go for like caravans, airdrops, etc. Like more like basically it forces people to fight for loot. So that looks cool. The cross session loadout, I really hope that this is PvP only or PvE only. If it's PvP, it's going to completely break the game, and they're going to completely kill off PvP, because you have because what it does is basically it's a rich get richer scenario, which if you don't understand what that means is basically the worst players in the game are going to just play the game as is, but the players who are really good at the game and who can consistently just keep they just get into a game, get all the glyphs, get the artifacts, kill like 5, 10, 15 enemy renegades, and just walk out with like zero, with no sweat. All it does is that it makes it easier for them to do exactly what they do, which then makes the new people want to play less, and then thus the PvP problem becomes even worse. PvE and in PvE, however, it makes sense because you can let's say I go into the treasury and everything, and let's say I'm doing like a difficulty 1 treasury, okay? I don't know how it's gonna be graded, how the difficulty is gonna work. This is just guesswork mostly. Let's say I'm doing a difficulty 1 treasury, and me and my team happen to score really well. We get like a purple shield mod, like a supernova laser. I get like a hot shots. I get like a bonus max health mod. Really good. What that means I can do is that suddenly I can take let's say I've been doing difficulty 1 because I can do difficulty 1. I can do difficulty 2. I can't beat difficulty 3. I've tried. I just don't have the gear and I don't have the team. What I can do is that suddenly I have all this really good loot, so I can take that, and I can take let's say I've been leveling up and working on the Tina Colada. I can suddenly swap over to Tex Rollum, which is my powerhouse class card, and I can swap over and pick one of my much stronger and much more valuable charged artifacts. And then I can suddenly go, and then I might actually be able to beat difficulty 3 treasury, because I already have a head start in that game, and that means that head start lets me negate part of the difficulty in the game. So part of the difficulty from that mode. So honestly, for PvE, it's absolutely incredible. How they're gonna do financing and everything, I'm not sure how it's gonna play. I'm not sure, but personally, honestly, this was completely. I understand why developers did this. Some people might call it copping out or leaving the game to die. I disagree. I say that this was needed. Hawked as a purely PvP game just does not work. It basically Hawked cannot function as a purely PvP game because I don't think it was ever designed to be a purely PvP game. It's not. It's meant to be player versus player, or player versus environment, also versus player. But over time, the actual versus environment part has been mostly lost because the enemies are never deadly, traps are avoidable, and even even the like mortar barrages from Vector when you like try and escape with the artifact. Most of the time, if you have like a good eye and you know where to not stand, they're completely harmless. The only serious, really big PvE threat we have had was Bodhi, and that was like a while ago, back when he was not properly balanced for solos mode. So most of the time, PvE is just kind of like shunted off to the side. So it's PvE. So Hawked currently is PvP, and there happens to be some PvE on the side, but all the PvE actually does is just basically it's kind of filler content as currently, which is not good because it's really not meant to be, and I can tell that it's not designed to be like that. So hopefully now you can have like a PvP with some PvE mode, which is the current mode, and then you'll have a PvE and it's really PvE mode, which is going to be the whole dungeon system. So, oi, that's a lot of talking. I am looking forward to this, honestly. It's gonna be fun to see how they do it. Also, the whole new artifact system is gonna be very fun. So I will most definitely be making I'll be making a Hawked video either on the 12th or the 13th. That depends on how the schedule aligns with it. But yeah, pretty fun video. Yeah, I'm looking forward. If anybody who happens to be like related to Team or anything watches this, good job. Keep it up. Uh, Most of the time, the like cranky opinions of just a couple of people doesn't actually reflect the full opinion of the player base or what's actually going on, because I've constantly seen people, like as I was mentioning before, every single person who's like, I suppose like this game's equivalent of like top 30% or higher, like I don't think I can actually see the basically assuming like if we take the leagues right here and we correlate this to like the ranked mode, basically everybody who's in like diamond and like high platinum and above, and it's like high platinum, diamond and above, has complained about the movement changes and says it's been the death of the game. They're like 5% of the player base, not even. And most of the time they're mostly complaining because what it does is that it removes a tool that gave them very easy way to fight other people. Because honestly, if you could master like slide jumps and everything back then, you didn't have to have good aim, you just couldn't get hit. So positioning was irrelevant, positioning was irrelevant, ambushing was irrelevant, aim was irrelevant. If you could just slide around, and like if you had like a shock wrecker or even just like a shotgun or the like Guard 21, you could kill pretty much anybody because you couldn't get hit. So yeah, basically, if somebody complains that something that's very strong has been removed, it's probably because they were using it to make up for a lack of something in their gameplay. Skill, like, if it's skill, if it's experience, whatever it is, that's usually what it is. That's usually what it correlates. So, yeah. Anyways, I think I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to go grab myself well, probably a cough drop because I've been talking for a very long time, but also some ice cream because I went to a very nice like all-you-can-eat sushi buffet place and it was really good. But we didn't get dessert, so well, I mean we did get dessert afterwards, but they weren't really great. It was like these little mochi things from the store. It was meh. So I'm gonna go see if we have any ice cream. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow with probably some more Tab G. I'll try and go to bed early, sleep off the rest of this rest of the side effects from this vaccine, and yeah. Anyways, this is Gyozaplanet signing off, and secure that loot, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Ciao.